Move over Chick-fil-A, scoot over KFC, and get on out of here, Popeyes. This is Miss Shelly's take on the crispy chicken sandwich. And I'm gonna make me a spicy one. So let's get into this. All right, I'm gonna start off with this, and you could use this for the crispy chicken sandwich. You could use it for fried chicken breast or even chicken strips. And this is going to not only be a marinade to give it a lot of flavor, but it will keep it moist. And I'm gonna marinate it for about 30 minutes in the refrigerator after I get done preparing it and putting the chicken in. So you're gonna need some buttermilk, and I just had gotten what they have, low fat buttermilk, 1% milk fat, because this is the only one that they actually had in stock. So if you want to get the full fat, that's cool, because usually I get the full fat, because buttermilk actually isn't that bad for you either way. And let me see here, I'm going to probably use about half of it, because I want to make sure I soak the whole chicken, and then I'm going to flip it after 15 minutes to the other side. You know what? Let me see here. Should I just do it all? Yeah, go ahead and do it all. This is only about $1 something. So you don't have to flip it and just kind of relax and marinate it. And I'm going to go with some garlic salt. So I'm not going to use much garlic salt. I usually use garlic powder, but I think they were out of stock because I couldn't find it. So I'm going to barely salt it with the garlic salt. And this is onion salt. Okay. So I'm using all powdered stuff because it tends to give it a better flavor. You can put some real onions in here and some garlic if you like, but I just like this flavor as far as for this type of marinade. And we're just going to go in with a little tiny bit. Remember, this is salt, it's not powder. And then I'm not going to use much sea salt at all because, you know, we're using garlic salt, onion salt, a tiny bit, probably less than half a teaspoon, like a, you know, just enough to give it a zing and a zang and a, no, I'm playing. And then I'm going to use my pepper grinder. And here we go. Now this is where I use this. And I actually couldn't find my measuring spoons. And a lot of things are missing in my house. And I don't know where they went because I'm not even going anywhere. So I'm going to do like probably a tablespoon. So that's about a tablespoon of chili powder. And then we have your good old paprika. Can't live without the paprika. And I'm going to do probably a tablespoon of that. So that would probably measure out to a tablespoon. And then I have my handy dandy La Costina chipotle peppers and adobo sauce. So we're not going to use the actual pepper. I'm going to save that for something else. And we're going to just kind of squeeze your spoon down in here. Grab some of the sauce. And get some sauce in there. Now that's about probably a little bit more than a tablespoon that I just put in there. So you're going to want to put like a tablespoon and a half, depending on how spicy you want it. So that's about a tablespoon and a half. And then we're going to mix this up. And, oh, splashy splash. This is the best place for me to cook and do these kind of things because the lighting and also the room. I have some arm room and stuff because this is a really small apartment and the counter space is really, really tiny. So there's actually nowhere to really cook like this type of stuff. You could fry stuff on the stove, and there's a stove, but like the counter space as far as next to it is just a sink, and it's very limited as far as what you could do there. So this is the best spot for this kind of stuff. And let me give it a taste. And if you don't want to taste it, if you don't like buttermilk plain out the carton, you know, don't do this. But it's good to see if the salt and the flavor is good. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'm going to give it a little lick. Ooh. Baby, baby, baby. Okay, so I did give it a couple sprinkles of this. And since it's a marinade, I could go ahead and add a little bit more. But what I highly recommend, if you're not familiar with using garlic salts and onion salts, You want to steer away from that and just go with the plain powdered garlic and plain powdered onion powder. Because if you're not familiar with the taste and, you know, how much to put, you're going to oversalt your food. So, you know, after you practice with this, as far as all the salts, the flavored salts, you want to get to know them before you like dump a whole bunch in, because you're going to oversalt your food basically. So if you want to use the powders and then just adjust your own salt, that's a good idea. But once again, they were out of stock and I actually couldn't stock up on the powders. So I noticed a lot of people are staying home cooking, and that's probably why they're out of a lot of stuff, which is a good thing because we're supposed to be, you know, staying home as much as possible. So I'm going to put probably a half a little teaspoon of the garlic salt and a half of a teaspoon of onion salt. I think I might like a little bit more pepper. And I think that's it, because I don't want it too spicy. And if you want to go ahead and chop up some adobe peppers and stuff like that, go ahead. But this right here is tasting pretty good. And then also you want to keep in mind that after you fry your chicken, you're going to lightly salt it afterwards, after you set it, you know, out on a paper towel or a drying rack for fried foods. And then also when you do use your flour base before you actually fry it, you're going to add some seasoning to that too. So it's layers of seasoning. So keep in mind, keep it low on the salt, because you're going to build your seasoning up. We're seasoning this by marinating it. And then also I'm going to show you how I prepare my flour mixture for deep frying in the next video, because that's when I'll be frying my actual chicken, and then I will be making a sandwich out of it for you guys. But I just wanted to do this separately because I do leave recipes as far as like dips and stuff sometimes in the description bar, but I know a lot of people are visual and they like to see it and it's easier for them. So I just wanted to put this marinade out there because it's really good. It keeps your chicken moist and I like it. So keep in mind, it depends on how spicy you want it. You could add more chipotle, you could add more paprika, you could add more of this. Just always keep in mind, as far as fresh garlic, fresh onion, go for it if you want to do it. But I do know that the powder, not the salt, the onion powder and the onion powder and the garlic powder actually give it a really good flavor. So salt for me is cool. I just don't use as much. All right, so with that being said, I hope it sounds good, because let's get into this. All right, I did cut the ends off of my chicken breast because I wanted it kind of more square and to cook evenly when I fry it. So I do have the little, like the little rectangular piece that comes off a breast. I'm just going to put them in there and fry them up for, you know, for whatever. Maybe give a couple to my little pet rats. But one thing I'm going to do is I'm not going to make mine as thick, because I'm going to put lettuce and pickles and stuff like that on my bun. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to butterfly it. I already have this one halfway cut. So I'm not going to butterfly it. I'm actually just going to cut it all the way in half. It was already butterflied. I just had to cut that extra little piece. So we're going to do this. And we're just going to, because when you add your flour and fry it and stuff like that, it is going to make it a lot more chunkier and big, and it's all going to work out. So I'm going to do that, and then we're going to give it a good mix. All right. And then also, if you're cooking for more people, this is great, because in something like this, you could add a whole bunch. And you could even use this for chicken strips for the kids. You know, toss a whole bunch in there, stick it in the fridge for 30 minutes. Dip it in your flour mixture, and bam, you got some chicken strips that are really good, because I'm going to be frying this in grapeseed oil. I'm keeping it as healthy as possible. And yeah. So anyways, that's my marinade, and let me get my top. You know what? Why don't I ever have my top and stuff like right where I need it? Okay, so this still has this on here. I can't get the plastic price tag off. It's been on there. I scraped it. I soaked it. This is the one I just don't want to come off. But I'm going to go ahead and put this like this. I'm going to put it in the fridge for about 30 minutes, and I will be frying me a chicken sandwich pretty soon. All right, I'll see you then, guys.